Well, hello, YouTube, and welcome once again back to my channel here. Been a while since I've been on. I took a little bit of an excursion out west and had a wonderful time, and of course, I'm glad to be back. Unfortunately, while I was out there, there was a strain of the flu virus that was going around, and it did hit my wife and I, and we were, off our feet for a while, but we're doing much better now. So I wanted to get back and just do a short YouTube video, and I want to entitle it Conversations with a Controlling Jezebel, or as we all know, Conversations with a Controlling Narcissist. Okay, we've already established through many of the videos that we have out here that when you talk about the Jezebel spirit, you're really talking about the characteristics that we see in a narcissist, okay? Even psychopaths as well as sociopaths. Many of those traits, characteristics, those behavior patterns that we see in people, really part of the whole Jezebel spirit that's in operation in many, many, many people. Today, let's talk about having a conversation with a controlling Jezebel. I know I've had many conversations with controlling Jezebels, and man, it doesn't go well. It's designed, it's intentionally designed that when you have a conversation with someone that's bound by Jezebel or narcissistic personality disordered type of person, that you will be spinning your wheels. You will be going around in circles, okay? Because to the Jezebel narcissist, this is really a game. Remember, the Jezebel narcissist has a major, major identity crisis. Now, the one attacked or afflicted or targeted by that Jezebelian or that narcissist has their own sets of problems. There's always doors open for this demonic, insidious spirit to operate and or to effectively navigate in people's lives. And that's what we need to focus in on, is closing those doors. And we have videos out there about that. We have teaching about that. We teach on that in our School of Equipping in the area of deliverance ministry. Those doors, those gates, those openings in all of our lives have to be closed, because at the end of the day, no one should be controlled by anyone. Okay? You're not to be dominated over, you're not to be intimidated on, and you're certainly not to be controlled by anybody. God does not want that. God himself doesn't even control us. But when we're having conversations with people and they're bound by this Jezebel spirit, they are a narcissist. I've seen the conversations become very, very weird. And again, to the narcissistic Jezebel, this is a game. So there's always a lot of drama. I call these the conversations from hell. It's the conversation where it may simply be, how you doing? How you been? Tell me what's been going on. Just a very short and concise question becomes a major, major catastrophic event. Have you ever been around a person where you've basically just asked that simple question, how you doing? And they say, why are you asking me now? Or they begin to say, what do you want to know for? Or they flip the script. Okay, because again, remember, Jezebel narcissist is always playing games. Now it's what I call the narcissistic Jezebel game of ping pong. That is, I'm going to take the ball out of my side of the court and I'm going to pop it right back over to your side, and now say something like, well, what do you want to know for? Are you? What are you trying to get into my life? And it's like, I was just asking you how you're doing. It's a major thing. It's a major event. It may be something like, you don't really care. I just asked you how you're doing, and now you're going to say, well, you don't really care. You don't really want to know. you're just asking me that because you're just trying to create a facade over yourself. And now immediately, just by asking a simple question, how you doing, now all of a sudden you find yourself on the defensive. I mean, has anybody ever experienced that? It's like a small thing becomes, that old saying, the molehill becomes the mountain. How you doing becomes a major thing. Well, if you would have really wanted to know how I was doing, you would have checked on me, or you would have asked me, or you would have said happy birthday to me, or you would have did this or did that. You would have called me. Now all of a sudden you're asking me, what is it that you really want? Why are you asking me this now? You didn't ask me this before. And then it continues. It just begins to snowball. Now all of a sudden, now they have to go back and they bring up the past. Well, you've always been like this. You've never really been concerned about me. You've never, even if you have a narcissistic Jezebelic child, it may be something where they say, well, you didn't even care about me when I was growing up. You never cared about me. Now all of a sudden you want to care about me. And you find yourself in a conversation that I call a conversation from hell. It's that Jezebelian, narcissistic conversation taking place that really, at the end of the day, you have to be very careful in, because it's really a game. And they begin to flip the script, okay? Flip the script on you to get you to think that now you are doing something wrong when you simply ask the question, how are you doing? We see this all the time in churches. We see this a lot among believers, Christians that are bound by demons in their mind and in their emotions. They have not gone through the process of deliverance. Now you simply ask a nice question. You may even give them a compliment. The conversation could be a compliment, and next thing you know, it all turns inwards, and it makes you feel worse than you're going to ask yourself the question, why did I even talk to this person? Have you ever legitimately gone with a good intention to talk to somebody, and once you're done talking to them, you feel worse than when you first started, but yet you went with all the right intentions? See, let me tell you something else about this Jezebel spirit, this narcissistic personality. One of the things that it does is it thinks that it can read your mind. It actually plays that game. It plays the game of being a mind reader. In other words, this is where the accusation comes in. It will say something like, well, I know why you're now asking me how I'm doing. It's because you feel guilty because of something you did to me previously. So now you're trying to get back into my life, and you're trying to plot and scheme. You're now trying to pull, this is them talking, you're trying to now pull me back into you, to where you now have some type of influence in my life, but I see your game. This is them talking. I see your game, and now they demonize you, and they'll begin to call you a Jezebel, or they'll call you the controller, or whatever. And you had no intention of that. This is how this stuff works. It's serious, okay? They'll say something like, well, again, simple, how you doing? It'll be like, well, I'm doing well, but let me now tell you what you're doing. And they begin to focus in on all of your shortcomings. They begin to, again, they have the laundry list. Have you ever been around a person, they have the laundry list? Okay, it's in their back pocket, per se. The moment you connect with them, the moment you share something with them, the moment you inquire of them, that laundry list, as it were, it's like a piece of paper that they always have with them, the laundry list of all the different things that you are not doing that you should be doing. Because at the end of the day, remember, to the Jezebel narcissist, it's all about control. So they're going to pick everything that you're not doing for them, because remember, you're there to serve them. They're not there to serve you. And they're going to bring that out. And again, this is a simple conversation. Of course, it's turned into the conversation from hell. But that simple conversation now puts you actually feel like you're in the court of law. You feel that you're on trial, and now you are in a defensive posture. That's what the Jezebel narcissist wants you in that defensive posture, so that you are constantly, on backpedaling and cannot begin to go into their life and challenge them. See, anytime they're challenged, the narcissistic Jezebel, anytime they're challenged, again, they play that game. They play that ping pong game, okay? It's, hey, ball's on my court. I'm going to quickly kick that back over to you, because anytime responsibility is coming towards the narcissistic Jezebel, okay, or accountability, okay, for their actions, then that ping pong ball proverbially is going to be smashed right back to your side, and it's all now going to be, get the focus off them. Let's get the focus on you in what you're not doing, because at the end of the day, the reason I am the way I am is because of something you're doing. So even if the narcissistic Jezebel mistreated you, it's always going to be thrown back on you. Okay, we see this a lot in abusive marriages, okay, whether the husband or wife, but many times it's the abusive husband, and the wife then begins to have a conversation with the controlling Jezebel husband or the narcissist, and the next thing you know, that's ping pong ball, as it were, is kicked right back over to your side, and now you're on the defense because the reason that they even did what they did. Matter of fact, it could be where they abuse you physically, mentally, sexually, emotionally, verbally. At the end of the day, the reason that they did that is not, they're not going to take responsibility for their actions. No, it's going to be put right back on you. You are the reason I did this. You're at fault. You didn't serve me. You didn't do this. You didn't take care of me, and so on. See, Jezebel will never accept blame, because she will not repent. That's according to the Word of God. The narcissist is never going to accept accountability or blame. What ends up happening is the narcissistic Jezebel is what I call a great blame shifter. But they're not just blame shifters, they're also shape shifters, okay? Going back to conversations, you're having a conversation. Now, this may be a conversation, could be about, the news, politics, where you grew up, racial issues, some type of social issues that are taking place, just general things that we as people talk about. And then all of a sudden, you're talking about that stuff. Now, what the narcissistic Jezebel will do is, because it's all about control, and it's always about, watch this now, it's always about making certain that there's enough confusion to where, when you're on that, when you have the scent of the trail that they're on, that they begin to shift and shape shift and change things to where you lose track of what they're really doing. So there always has to be a ball of confusion in operation. But whatever this conversation may be, it could be a very simple conversation, like I said, about politics or social issues, the weather, vacation, some past wonderful time, maybe you experience, whatever. It doesn't matter what the context of the conversation is. What will end up happening is that Jezebel narcissists will shapeshift. They will shapeshift, and you're having a great conversation. You're striking. It's like, hey, this is going pretty good. I'm really enjoying this conversation. We're kind of seeing eye to eye in the areas we don't see eye to eye. It's kind of like everything's good, but all of a sudden, it just shifts, and it shifts for the worst. And what they will begin to do is now attack you and say or paraphrase back to you something that you never said. See, this is a form of control and manipulation. And they will say, well, what did you mean there? Or worse yet, they'll say, you meant to say that. Or you said, and you'll say, I didn't say that. That's not what I said. Oh, no, that's what you just said. You're like, no, I didn't say that. And what that does, check this out, that what that does is that really kind of works together and is part of the whole gaslighting tactic that's being used. They will take something you said and it'll be taken out of context, okay? And that'll be used against you, okay? And that's designed to then have you think that you are the one that's in the wrong. You're questioning yourself. You know how many people I talk to on a weekly basis, for that matter, that are constantly questioning themselves? Well, yeah, but so and so said such and such, and I work with people all the time, and it's like, do you understand you're being controlled? Do you understand that the witchcraft, which is control, intimidation, domination, and intimidation. That witchcraft that's coming against you, that it's designed to have you constantly doubting who you are. Now, there are people that think that they're something that they're not, or they think more highly of themselves than they ought to. I'm not talking about those type of people. Those people like that, they need deliverance. They deal with pride. They deal with a lot of different things and whatever. But I'm talking about, here you are, you're loving God, you're serving God, you're seeking first the kingdom of God, and now all of a sudden you have this person or persons or group, even organizations for that matter, in your life that is controlling you and removing you away from what God would have you to do, and shifting you through a bunch of mind games, trickery, and gaslighting tactics, to have you then doubt your own calling, your own anointing, your own self, and begin to move into things that they want you to do. And what they may want you to do is just be silent, to just shut up and get in the corner and be quiet. So again, this all can take place out of a simple conversation with a Jezebel, with a person bound by a Jezebel spirit, or harboring the spirit of Jezebel, or the narcissist. You can't sit down with a Jezebel and have a normal conversation. It always goes bad. The only time it doesn't go bad is if you basically cave into all of their demands. In other words, if you esteem the Jezebel as a god, because Jezebel always wants worship, or the narcissist as the elite, because that's what the narcissist wants. Remember, the narcissist is all about them anyways. It's a form, the narcissist wants you, the one controlled within that narcissistic web, wants you to idolize it, to honor it, to look at it and worship it, whoever that it is. Your husband, could be your parents, child, some leader, a friend. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be you yourself. But at the end of the day, it's all about, obtaining worship, because it's all about them, because they're so insecure. And this is what happens when you have these conversations, okay, with these Jezebelians. Okay, these conversations they get foul very fast. You'll walk away with headaches. You'll walk away sometimes nauseated in your stomach, very confused. A narcissistic Jezebel, there's many games they play. Ping pong is one of them. Another type of Jezebelian narcissistic game is what's called keep away. Keep away is that old, you got a ball, and as soon as you come over here, I throw it to the other side, and you're constantly going from back and forth trying to get or obtain that ball. That's designed to have you so confused that when you think you're getting close to figuring them out, they throw the ball to the other side. And because of your amazement with that narcissistic Jezebel personality, you then follow the leading of that ball, trying to track it down, because you think that you are now the solution to the Jezebelian or to that narcissist. You're not the solution. You're caught, and I put that in this book here, you're caught in the web of destruction, okay? And that's what we call prime targets, in that web right there, okay? You think that you can fix the problem, but you can't fix the problem while you're in the web. To help somebody emancipate themselves from the Jezebel narcissist, you yourself have to be out of the web. You can't be in this web, because you're now, it's a game. You're now part of the game. Last thing, as it pertains to when you have these conversations that I want to share with you with the Jezebel narcissist, is in public they play a game, and that game is called plinking. Or better yet, we could call it target practice. In other words, if you ever found yourself around a Jezebel, okay, around a narcissist, and you're in public, they begin to publicly humiliate you. They begin to take shots at you. They begin to shoot things across the bow. This stuff even happens on Facebook or other social media events. shots, I call them shots across the bow. It's a public defamation of character. It's a public humiliation. It's something done publicly. It could be a public spectacle. Be careful in well, I always tell people to really don't have a conversation with a Jezebel, but if you find yourself in one and you're in public, you're going to have to really watch out for being the target, the plinking. In other words, taking a shot at. Okay, that's what plinking means. Taking the shot at, and they're practicing their art of witchcraft on you, and they will begin to publicly humiliate you and defame you. And they'll say things to trigger a response in you. This is why you must be delivered, because you're not delivered, then some demon, some stronghold's going to, that button's going to be pushed, that trigger's going to be pulled, and you're going to do what's called manifest. Now you're going to become angry in public. You're going to yell in public. You're going to storm out in public. You're going to perhaps even retaliate in public. And this is all part of the Jezebel narcissistic game in conversating with you to get people to think that you're the problem, not them. Because to the Jezebel spirit, the host, to that narcissist, the more they can stay off the grid and have people think that you're the problem, the wife's the problem, or the husband's the problem, or this is the problem, or that person's problem, or this leader's the problem, or that parishioner's the problem, whatever it may be, the more they can continue to spin that thing in public, then they begin to get they do what's called persuading public opinion their way. Okay, this is why I always tell people, people are always watching the news and media and stuff like that. It's notorious for that Jezebel narcissistic personalities to really utilize the media for their benefit to persuade public opinion that they are something and everybody else is wrong and so on. So a lot of smoke and mirrors and stuff like that, but it all comes down from having the conversation. So again, I've had my share of conversations with people, real people bound by a spirit of Jezebel or have those narcissistic traits or the narcissistic personality disorder. And again, these conversations are they're toxic, they're septic, they'll wear you out. You physically, you can become sick. I've seen anywhere from migraine headaches to aches and pains to inflammation just mounting up in the body, even disease, because people continue to hold on to connecting with people that are Jezebelian or narcissists. You've got to cut the cord. Do you understand that? This is very, a lot of people say, well, how do I do it? You leave. You quit associating with that group or that person. Let me leave you with this. And I said this yesterday or last night in our Deliverance School of Ministry. And we were talking about witchcraft. And I said this. I looked at the camera and I said this. I said, stop allowing anyone to control you. You are not designed to be controlled by anyone. Hear me. Look at me clearly. Not your spouse, not your parents, not your children, not your employer, not the government, not your pastor, if you're a pastor or leader, not the people that you serve. They're not to control you. No one is to be under the control of anyone else. Okay? Yeah, I think that'll bless you. And you can do it. You may be sitting there saying, well, how do I come out from the control? Well, we can help you, but at the end of the day, what's your desire? If you desire it and you will it, you can do it. Amen. Listen, I really pray that this is a blessing to you. A lot of people, they send us, 95% of people send us great comments on YouTube, and I appreciate that. I thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting this ministry. Send in your gifts of love. Go to our website, summersministries.com. Continue to do that because, this is how we do things. This is how we, have revenue to go and preach the gospel of the kingdom. And we thank you guys for following us. But there's sometimes people say, well, but you didn't address this. Listen, we do anywhere between a 20-minute to sometimes an hour video. You can't address everything. The problems of mankind are so intense and so deep and so severe that we're going to be talking about this stuff for a very long time. I believe that this channel has given many of you hope. I want to thank you, and I know this because I get the testimonies, and I want to thank you guys for sending those in, from people saying, you know, thank you for breaking it down. Thank you for just understanding. That's what we have to do. We have to understand first where we're at. You know, God came to Adam and Eve and he said, you know, where are you? He said, Adam, where are you? It wasn't that God didn't know where Adam was. It was that God wanted Adam to know where he was. And that's what we believe that these videos, these teachings, the things that we do here at Summers Ministries is doing for you, is getting you to the place where you know, hey, this is where I'm at. But also letting you know you're not crazy. Okay? Many, many people are bound, if not everybody, okay, in some area of their life. And I believe that this ministry and the things that we're doing can help you. So, again, thanks for watching us. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Share it with somebody. Share it with loved ones. Put it on Facebook or some social media. We appreciate you. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And, you know, hit us up on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. And we appreciate you guys. Okay? All right. God bless you. Love you guys. Bye-bye.